Machine. Of course, I'm your host with the most, Truman the Scene Machine, Steehn. Today, missing my co-host, Scott, the Steamroller Steehn. He is having computer difficulties. His computer died today. He's working on getting switched over to the new one. It's funny. I got him a computer for Christmas last December, and just never got over there to set it up. It was like a convenience thing where his laptop had all his settings and it worked really well. And so we're like, well, when we get around to it, we'll switch it over. And of course, now we are here, and he is having his computer difficulties. So it's kind of funny, or like ironic, I guess is the word for it. But regardless, the show must go on. So I am here to provide you with the picks that you require, the help that you need. Let's get into it. Let's not waste too much time. People, a positive week from both of us. That's right. I went 4-1. I had the New York, New England under 34, the Giants and the Pats. That finished 7-10. Really, it was like, I think it was 3-0 or 7-0 at halftime. I was like, oh yeah, that was a great bet. Carolina, Tennessee under 36.5. That finished 10-17. Like no under ever feels like it's not quite a sweat, besides that New England, New York one that I just talked about. But Panthers, Titans, it felt like I think they had like a couple red zone turnovers or drives that stalled out that helped. But we got there. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati under 36.5. Man, Jake Browning's not very good. I think we all kind of knew it in our heart that they just didn't have it. It's a bad team without Joe Burrow, man. I feel bad for Cincy fans. I really thought. I don't know if I thought this was going to be this year, but I think this was going to be their best run at it that they'd have for a while. So I don't know, kind of sucks. But that game ended 16-10. Steelers over Cincy. So under 36.5 cashed. I also had the Buffalo Philly over 48.5. That game finished 34-37. Philadelphia won. Eagles Bills, man, that game went over in like midway through the third quarter. That was nice. Baltimore Chargers over 48.5. Ravens Chargers over 48.5. An L. 20-10. Should have known. Primetime unders. They love to cash. Love to cash. Primetime unders. 20-10. Bad football game. Ravens' offense not elite, and I think, and I'm not sure how many people are telling you they're elite, but it's on full display there. Defense is still very good though. Let's look at Scott's pick. Scott's had the Bucks money line at plus 130. Sadly, that did not hit. The Bucks lost 20-27 at the Colts. Sucks. He also had the Giants plus 4 at home against New England. They won outright 10-7, so it's pretty good for them. Titans minus 3.5 at minus 105. That one they won 17-10. And sorry, if you ever look at this, I put the away team first just so you guys know, like especially for the totals, just so it's kind of just the same across all of them. So even though it says 7-10, the Giants were at home, so they won 10-7. Titans were at home against Carolina. They won 17-10 here. So those both cash. Raiders plus 9.5. Lost by 14. Just didn't score. So kicked a field goal in the second half, and that was it. Kansas City defense really turned on. When the Chargers were up, or Raiders were up 14-0, I was even thinking to myself, I was like, man, he's really up 23.5-0 right now. I was thinking it was maybe missed out on an opportunity. Should have been taking some advice. Nope. Chiefs offense kind of found itself a little bit. Let's see if they can kick that on for the rest of the season. Hopefully. And his last pick was Ravens minus 3. That one did cash. They won 20-10 over the Chargers on that Monday night game that we talked about already. All right, so where does that bring us now? In total, I won $400. I lost $110. So I'm plus 290 for the week. I'm 4-1 for the week. I add that 290 to my running total of 209 for the season. I'm up to 499. I'm almost a full season up again, or full episode up again. I can almost afford to lose every single pick. Knock on wood. I still can't because it's really 550 or so. But it brings my season win-loss total to 23 is 17. Scott, he won 300. He lost 214. He's plus 86 now. Means he went 3-2 on the week. So he was at negative 1138 going into this. He adds 86. He's now only negative 1052. Chipping away at it. He's going to have a couple more than 1 unit wins. He's going to have a couple 4-1 weeks. But I believe he can get there. He's now 15, 24, and 1 for the season. So let's move on into this week's picks. This will be a nice, quick episode. We won't get I won't get caught up talking to myself for 20 minutes about a head coach who will never make it to the NFL. So instead, I'll just get right into the picks. My first pick this week, Atlanta, the Falcons at the Jets, the under 34. You can find that minus 110 on everything except if you're betting on points bet. Listen, I know I say listen a lot. Listen, it's this is a bad Falcons team. Desmond Ridder back at the helm of the offense. Still a bad quarterback in my eyes. He looks a little more confident, but he's still a bad quarterback. I have the Atlanta Falcons as the 10th worst offense in the NFL. And they are at the New York Jets. New York Jets, for me, have the second worst offense in the NFL, but a top 5 defense. And I think that'll help keep the Atlanta, still bottom 10 offense in line. And I don't think this Jets offense can score, especially the more that we have to see Tim Boyle. I don't understand how you keep putting Tim Boyle out there. That man is bad. He's always been bad. He's never had anything positive. Never in college, not in the NFL. I know it's all privilege about him being friends with Aaron Rodgers, but man, how did he even make it onto an NFL roster? It's the Rick and Morty, if you've ever seen it. It's the clip of Jerry's crawling on the floor, and they said, How did you survive? He said, I don't know. I just kept crawling, and it just kept working. That's Tim Boyle's career in my eyes. So that'll be my first pick. Atlanta at New York Jets under 34. Scott's first pick, he's looking at the Chargers at the Pats under 40.5. Almost the same kind of story. Not an incredible offense this year. I have the Chargers. They're top. I have them as a top 10 offense, but just failing to execute. I think scoring and winning. They're not playing very well. But I think the bigger half of this is New England, a bottom 5 offense. They have 4th worst offense in the NFL for me in my system. It's just total ineptitude on that side of the ball for New England. Obviously, if there's a bunch of turnovers or something, that could happen. But hell, I mean, you just saw this Chargers defense still hold Baltimore to 20, even with the Chargers turning over the ball a ton on that Monday night game. So I would say you could still fairly count on an under here, especially New England probably not putting up a ton, and I don't know if this Chargers offense can score over 30 or at least over 35, which might be what it takes. So Scott's under 40.5 feels pretty safe to me. It is what my sheet had. I had this at 36 points mapped out. So my second pick, I have the Cardinals at Pittsburgh. Cardinals at Steelers under 41.5 at minus 115. You can find that over on FanDuel. The Steelers did put up over 400 yards of offense. I talked about it last week. I said that is the one wild card is that without Matt Canada, what can this Steelers offense do? Put up plenty of yards, didn't put up a ton of points. Still not a great scoring offense. And Arizona, it's kind of the same thing. Arizona has looked better since Kyler Murray has been back, but I wouldn't call them a great offense still. So, no. So under 41.5, I think that is plenty of points. I don't know if either of these teams are going to put up 20, and I especially don't expect both of them to put up 20. So the under 41.5 feels pretty safe there at minus 115 over on FanDuel. Scott's second pick of the week, he's got the Lions minus 4. That's minus 110. They are at the Saints. You can find that on You can find that line on MGM and Caesars. Listen, there I am saying it again. This Lions team still looking pretty good. Still looking like they're probably a contender It's hard to say in the NFC because it's probably going to be 49ers Eagles again, or it feels like it should be. Like last year, it felt like it should be Chiefs Bengals again, but it could be the Bills, And the year before that, it felt like it should have been Chiefs. It felt like it should have been Chiefs Bills that year. And somebody bad got the 2 seed. I want to say it was the Titans got the 2 seed that year, and you're like, well, they're going to lose. But, we still got Chiefs Bills that year. It's felt, so in the NFC, it almost feels like the Lions are a great story, but not a contender. But either way, the Lions still -4 here at New Orleans. This New Orleans team is not looking great. Chris Olave did practice in a limited capacity Wednesday, and I believe, or maybe he missed Wednesday. I think he was back Thursday, I think was the deal. Or maybe he practiced Wednesday, and I'm not sure what I saw on Thursday. But so Chris Olave might be able to go, but he's having issues. Michael Thomas, I think, still having. He had something weird with. I believe he's on the IR also. I believe I know he was throwing bricks at kids, but I think there was also IR news. Yes, he is on the IR, so he will not be there for this game either. So it's an offense lacking in weapons. The Saints defense has been fine. It's okay. Lions -4. For me, it's a little close. I only had Detroit favored by 3.5 points here. But Lions -4 at -110. It's not a bad price. You can find that at, again, MGM and Caesars. But I don't know. I don't love it, but it's his pick. My third pick, I have Miami, Washington, over 49.5 at -108 over on DraftKings. You might be saying, Truman, a lot of totals. Hey, I don't know if you noticed this. Last week, I bet only totals. All my spreads were actually earlier in the week. But hey, I don't know if you've also noticed this. My totals been pretty good. I was actually going through and checking my sheet on spreads, and this hasn't been doing as well as the totals. The totals have been doing very well, carrying a lot of the bulk of my profit. But Miami, Washington, over 49.5 is a great Miami offense that I believe can score on a whim, especially against a, fairly what I describe as bad defense in Washington. The Commanders, I have them as the second worst defense in the NFL, and I have the Commanders offense actually as top half. Miami defense, not very good. I have them in the bottom. I have them as the 12th worst defense in the NFL. So it's a recipe for, I believe Miami's offense is going to feast on a bad Commanders defense. And I believe that has gotten worse as they have traded players away at the deadline. And I believe the Commanders offense will have a bit of a get-right game against this bad Miami defense. Sam Howell, leading passer in the league going into week 13 here in yards. So it's kind of fun. Good for Eric Bieniemy. Over 49.5. Listen, it's a lot of touchdowns, but I think they can do it. I think they can get there. And Scott believes the same thing. He also has Miami, Washington over 49.5 at -108. Again, that's only over at DraftKings. I don't think me and Scott have had one where we've gone against each other. I don't think we've had a pick this year. In years past, we had, I think, a lot of those. And lately, we haven't had a ton of those where we've picked opposite of each other. So we've had a fair amount of green picks, and the green picks have done fine. I'm positive, so I know my picks do fine. My fourth pick of the week, 49ers -2.5 at -118. This is over on FanDuel. Again, we talk about this. It's funny. The San Francisco team is on the road at Philly. Philly is 10-1 in underdogs. I saw somebody trying to say this is the worst 10-1 team we've ever seen, the most overrated. That's not true. Listen, Philly has beat good teams. They have beaten Dallas. They've beaten Kansas City. They have. I think a lot of people believe they've gotten lucky in those games. Maybe. I would say quite possibly. They've gotten a little lucky. But they won it. They hit it. Nonetheless, it hits. Who cares? They've won. They're 10-1. And also, I don't know if you guys remember that Pittsburgh Steelers team from a couple years ago, but they were 11-0. So no, I don't think this Philly team is the most overrated 10-1 team we've ever seen. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers were 10-0 or 11-0. They got to 11-1. And I don't believe this Philly team is going to get to 11-1. But still, the Steelers would be more overrated than that team. So I guess they could be the most overrated 10-1 team ever. But again, I still don't believe that. But I do believe that the 49ers have looked better, especially with Debo back. This is a totally different team once Debo's back. And they have just looked like the best team in football. I have them ranked as the best team in football right now on my sheet. I have them ranked as the second best offense and the best defense. That defense added Chase Young, the rich get richer. Darius Leonard's going to go to either the Cowboys or the Eagles, probably. The rich get richer, as we say. So, yeah, 49ers minus 2.5. Great defense, great offense. If Philly wins this game, I don't think anybody can sit there. There could be bullshit. They could deserve to lose. But if they win this game, you still can't sit there and say they're the most overrated. No, they're just not. They're not overrated at that point. They've beaten every good team. What do you want them to do? But if they lose, there will be a discussion. Scott's fourth pick of the week, he has Denver, Houston under 47.5 at minus 110. You can find that MGM, FanDuel, or DraftKings. Interesting. An interesting pick from Scott. I actually have this as an over on my sheet. I had this picked at 53 on my sheet, but I'm not betting it on the show or in my life. It wasn't a big enough kind of margin for me to bet on. But, man, this Denver, I think he's banking on this Denver defense being or this Denver offensive surge that we've seen kind of being a little hokey and maybe not real, maybe a little bit of fool's gold. If Houston can protect the ball, I don't think because that's what the Denver defense has been getting a lot of turnovers, and that's where a lot of Denver's points have been generating from, and a lot of this winning streak has been generating from. So I'm thinking if they're not getting those turnovers, if C.J. Stroud can protect that ball, if they're not fumbling, they're not making mistakes. If they play mistake-free football out there, I think they handle Denver. I could see this game absolutely going under. I could see this being 27-20. That's under 47.5. I could see this being 21-17. It's not a realm possibility, but I don't know, man. This Denver team's been scoring a fair amount lately. Houston looks very good. I'd like to know his reasoning, but we're just going to speculate because it's not here. Also, I will give you Scott's last and final pick here for the day. He also had the 49ers minus 2.5. Again, that's minus 118 over on FanDuel. You've already heard the reasoning from me. I won't explain it even any further than I already have, but you've got it, so don't worry about it. 49ers minus 2.5, his final pick. My final pick, San Francisco, Philly, over 47.5. Like I told you, this is the second best offense, and Philly, for me, also has a top 10 offense. They have the sixth best offense. So it's two great offenses. The Philly defense has not been as great, but I believe San Francisco will still be able to put up plenty of points on them. And I think Philly's going to find some holes in the San Francisco defense still, be able to put up a couple points, enough to get there. My system actually had this at San Francisco, Philly, 75 points is what it has it at. Will we see that? No, probably not. But it is really liking it's valuing the mismatch of the Niners offense versus that Philly defense a lot, and that's where you're seeing a lot of that. But it's also still seeing Philly score enough points because they also have a great offense against still a good defense, but a defense that can give up points. So San Francisco, Philly over 47.5. 7 touchdowns in that game feels like nothing. McCaffrey's going to get 2. Jalen Hurts is going to get 2. Debo's going to get 1. A.J. Brown's going to get another. Devonta Smith. Whoever's playing tight end for Philly, or George Kittle could get 1. Philly tight end, whoever it is, get 1. Look, and that's 9 or 10. So there you go. Over 47.5. So that's it. That's all 5 picks for both of us. Again, rehashing on my picks, I had Falcons, Jets under 34, Cardinals, Steelers under 41.5, Dolphins, Commanders over 49.5, 49ers minus 2.5, and 49ers, Philly 49ers, Eagles over 47.5. Scott, he had Chargers, Pats under 40.5. Lions -4 at the Saints. He had Dolphins, Commanders over 49.5. He had Denver, Houston under 47, or he had Broncos, Texans. I'm trying to be linear. I'm trying to say the same, either mascots or cities, not a mix. It doesn't matter. Broncos, Texans under 47.5, and he had 49ers -2.5 at Philly, at the Eagles. All right, so there you go. That's it. We appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you for stopping by. Appreciate you for liking, subscribing, rating, whatever you're doing, wherever you're watching this. Interact with us, please. We appreciate you. We appreciate you for being here, hanging out. You've been great. You've been lovely. You can follow me, twitter.com/@SteehmMachine, twitter.com @SteehNroller for Scott. You can find us there. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you'd like to watch on YouTube, it's at Open Disaster Productions. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're tired of seeing my face, head on over to Spotify. It's under the Dom That's True banner, or Apple Podcasts as well. It's still under the same banner. But that's it. We appreciate you guys for being here. If Scott was here, he'd say, hope you guys have a great week. Hope everybody has a lot of good luck. And we'll see you next week when we head back to the window. See you guys.